Okay, imagine for a second that there is a spy living in your house. And I don't mean a bug in your smart speaker or, some tracker on your phone. I'm talking about a full-time, live-in, undercover agent. Someone who has been watching you and your family 24/7 for the entire last year.
That sounds a little ominous when you put it that way, like the start of a thriller.
It does. But here's the twist. This agent isn't reporting to any government. He's reporting to the Jade Emperor, the supreme ruler of the cosmos. And the only way to stop him from spilling all your secrets, you have to bribe him with candy.
That is, I have to say, one of the best ways to introduce one of the most charming and, well, significant traditions in East Asian culture. We are talking, of course, about Xiaonian, or the Minor New Year.
Exactly. We are doing a deep dive today into the official kickoff of the world's biggest party, the Spring Festival. But before all the fireworks and the billions of dumplings, there's this fascinating prelude with a deity known as Zhao Wang Ye, the kitchen god.
And this really is the kickoff. You can't really understand the Lunar New Year without understanding this Minor New Year. It completely sets the stage. We've pulled together a huge stack of sources here: folklore archives, historical records from Imperial China, comparisons with Vietnamese traditions, and even reports on how this is all surviving in the age of AI.
So our mission today is to figure out how this spiritual fly on the wall became so central to the holiday season. How does a tradition that started way before the Song Dynasty stay relevant when we're all just glued to our phones?
It's a journey from ancient superstition to modern digital celebration. And it all starts with that character you mentioned, the kitchen god.
Let's unpack him. Zhao Wang Ye. When I first heard kitchen god, I was picturing like a head chef, someone critiquing my knife skills or judging how much salt I use. But the sources say he's so much more than that.
Oh, much, much more. He's essentially a moral monitor sent by the Jade Emperor. Think of the Chinese pantheon as a giant celestial bureaucracy, almost modeled directly on the imperial government on Earth. The Jade Emperor is the CEO, and Zhao Wang Ye is the regional manager stationed in your house.
A regional manager. That makes it sound so corporate.
It's surprisingly bureaucratic. And his territory is the kitchen, which makes total sense because historically the hearth was the center of the home. It's where you cook, where the family gathers, where they talk. If you really want to know what a family is like, you go to their kitchen.
That's so true. The living room is for show. The kitchen is where the real stuff happens.
Precisely. So his job is pure surveillance. He observes the family's behavior all year long. Every argument, every act of kindness, every single wasted grain of rice, he notes it all down.
Okay, so he's making a list and checking it twice.
Exactly. And this is where the Minor New Year comes in. On the 23rd or 24th day of the 12th lunar month, he has his annual performance review. But he's not the one being reviewed, you are. He ascends to heaven to give a full report to the Jade Emperor on how your family behaved.
And the stakes are high, right? This isn't just about getting a gold star on a chart.
Very high. A good report means blessings for the next year.
Right.
Health, wealth, good harvest. A bad report, well, you could face what they call heavenly punishment. Bad luck, sickness, you name it.
Which brings us to my absolute favorite part of this whole thing, the tactical counterintelligence. Because families don't just sit back and hope for the best. They intervene.
They do. It's this wonderful example of human ingenuity trying to outsmart a god. The ritual involves offering specific sweets, usually a malt candy called tanggua.
Tanggua, I was reading about this. It's shaped like a little melon, right? And the texture is everything.
Yes, it's brittle and hard when it's cold, but the moment it warms up, it becomes incredibly sticky. I mean, like glue your mouth shut sticky.
And the logic here is just hilarious to me. It's a two-pronged strategy.
It is. The first layer is simple bribery. You offer sweet candy to sweeten his mouth. The hope is that he'll be in a good mood and only say nice things about you to the emperor. There's even a traditional saying for it: speak good things in heaven, ensure peace on earth.
But then there's the backup plan, which is just devious.
It's very practical. The idea is that if sweet-talking him doesn't work, the candy will literally glue his teeth together.
I love that. Here, have some candy. And then he tries to report you. He can't. He's dagged by sugar.
It really highlights the relationship people had with their gods. It's not just fear. There's negotiation, there's humor. He's a member of the household. You respect him, but you also have to manage him.
So we know what happens. But there seems to be a bit of a scheduling conflict. The sources talk about a great date debate between northern and southern China. I didn't realize gods had different time zones.
It's not so much a time zone as it is a cultural and historical divide. The day you send the kitchen god off Really depends on where you are in China.
Okay, so break it down for us. Who celebrates when?
Generally, in northern China, Xiaonian is on the 23rd day of the 12th lunar month. But in southern China, it's typically the 24th.
Just a one-day difference. Seems small, but I bet people take it seriously. So why the split?
It really comes down to history and, well, proximity to power. The sources point to the influence of the imperial court in Beijing. The emperor, being the son of heaven, would honor the gods on the 23rd. And since Beijing is in the north, the people there just sort of follow the official schedule.
So it's a status thing.
Exactly. A bit of mimicking royalty. If it's good enough for the emperor, it's good enough for us.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was even a bit about saving costs by lining up your rituals with the state celebrations.
So the North followed the emperor's lead. What about the South?
Well, the South was just further away from the political center in Beijing. They held on to their local traditions more. They stuck with the 24th. It's a classic center versus periphery dynamic. The closer you are to the capital, the more you act like it.
That makes perfect sense. But I also saw a really cool note about different professions having their own dates. Something about boatmen.
Yes, that's a fascinating little detail.
Mm-hmm.
It shows how adaptable the tradition is. The sources say that fishermen or people living on boats, the water people, might celebrate on the 25th, or just whenever the tides and winds were right.
Because their kitchen is literally moving.
Exactly. You can't be tied to a rigid schedule if your home is floating down a river. The kitchen god on a boat has to be as flexible as the crew.
So the kitchen god has his mouth full of sticky candy. He's flown off to the Jade Emperor on the 23rd, 24th, or whenever. He's gone. The house is godless for a few days. What happens then?
Well, once the security camera is turned off, that's when the real work begins. This kicks off the period of Sao Chen, or dust cleaning.
Which just sounds like a big chore. Hey kids, the god's gone. Time to vacuum.
It is a huge chore scrubbing floors, washing windows, but the symbolism is so deep. In Chinese, the word for dust, which is chen, sounds exactly the same as the word for old.
Ah, okay, so it's a pun.
A very important pun. When you're sweeping up the physical dirt, you're also performing this ritual security sweep. You're sweeping away all the bad luck, the old energy, the arguments from the past year.
It's a hard reset, a spiritual deep clean.
That's a great way to put it. You're physically and spiritually making room for the new luck that comes with the Spring Festival. It's a deadline. You have to get all the old energy out before the new year arrives. If your house is cluttered with the past, there's no room for the future.
I think we can all relate to that feeling. That I cannot start this new chapter with this messy apartment feeling.
It's universal. You see it in spring cleaning in the West or the preparations for Diwali in India. We need to close the loop on the old cycle to feel ready for the new one.
Now, speaking of cosmic cycles, this is all leading up to the main event, the Spring Festival. And the sources bring up some pretty wild backstories for the festival itself. We have to talk about the monster.
The Nidian beast. Yes, you can't really talk about the origins of the Spring Festival without it. The legend says that on the last night of the year, this monster, the Nidian, would come down from the mountains to attack people and livestock.
It's funny how many holidays start with something is trying to eat us.
Fear is a great motivator for community rituals. And the things they did to fight the Nidian beast explain how the holiday looks and sounds today. The sources are clear that the beast was afraid of three things: the color, red, bright lights, and loud noises.
And that's where the red couplets on the doors and the firecrackers come from.
Exactly. It wasn't a party at first. It was a survival strategy. You put red paper on your door as a shield. You light firecrackers to intimidate, not to celebrate.
But if we look beyond the legends, the festival's roots go back so much further. We're talking about the pre-Qin period, before 221 BC.
That is ancient. And before it was about monsters, it was really just about farming. The Spring Festival marks the end of winter, the start of the new agricultural cycle. The Han Dynasty was really key here, because they're the ones who formally set up the lunar calendar we still use today, fixing the start of the year.
So the timing of this whole thing was locked in over 2,000 years ago.
Correct. And then it evolved through the Tang, Song, and Qing dynasties, picking up customs like dumplings and red envelopes along the way. But the core timing is pure Han Dynasty.
There's another layer here, though, that the sources really emphasize. It's not just about gods and monsters, it's about ancestors.
Yes, that is the emotional anchor of the whole festival. While the kitchen god is about your present behavior, the Spring Festival is about your lineage. Sacrificing to ancestors is a profound act of filial piety.
Filial piety, that's the respect for parents and elders, right?
Correct, but it extends to those who've passed on. The rituals reinforce family hierarchy, gratitude. It's a social stabilizer. By honoring those who came before, you teach the younger generation their place in the family's history. It's saying you are here because they were here.
It connects the past, present, and future. Okay, so zooming out a bit, is this just a Chinese tradition, or do we see it elsewhere?
Well, the cultural influence is huge. The sources point to Vietnam specifically. They have a festival called Tuk No.
Toot not. And that's their version of Shou Nian.
Basically, yes, it means minor Tet. The core idea is identical. Send the kitchen gods off to report to the Jade Emperor. But there's this amazing difference in the transportation method.
Transportation method, like, does he take a different airline?
In a way, in the Chinese tradition, the god might ride a horse or just ascend in smoke. But in Vietnam, the tradition is to buy live carp.
Fish.
Yes, the legend is that the kitchen god rides a carp to heaven. So on this day, families buy live fish and then release them into rivers or lakes to carry the god on his journey.
Wow, that is a stunning image. Riding a fish to heaven.
It also adds this ecological element, releasing life back into nature. It shows how the same basic holiday operating system can have a totally different look depending on the local culture.
And even if you don't celebrate Lunar New Year, the themes feel so familiar. The sources compare the dust cleaning to Diwali or even Christmas preps.
Totally. Think
Yeah.
about that frantic cleaning and cooking before Christmas Eve. You might be getting ready for Santa Claus instead of the Jade Emperor, but the human behavior is identical. We all want to clear out the old, gather our family, and make a clean, welcoming space for a new beginning.
It's comforting to know that everyone, everywhere, is just stress cleaning before a big family dinner.
It's the great equalizer.
But here's where it gets really interesting for me. We've talked about ancient China, monsters, and carp, but we're living in the 21st century. How on earth does a celestial spy survive in the age of big data?
You'd think technology would kill off these traditions, but the sources suggest it's actually preserving them, just in a new format. The spy has gone digital.
Give me an example.
Okay, look at the offerings. We're seeing things like cloud worship or virtual altars pop up.
Virtual altar.
Yes, so imagine you, a young professional working in Shanghai, but your ancestral home is 1,000 miles away. You can't get back for the minor holidays. Now, there are apps where you can log in, create a digital memorial for your ancestors or the kitchen god, and offer digital fruit and incense.
That is wild. Digital incense, does it even count?
That's the big debate. But the argument is that the intent matters more than the object. And look at the red envelopes, the cash gifts. That used to be physical money in a red packet. Now, it's almost all happening on WeChat or Alipay.
I read about that. Billions of transactions in a single night.
Literally billions. People send digital red packets to family groups, work chats. It's gamified the tradition. You have to tap your screen fast to grab the money. But the function transferring luck and wealth is exactly the same.
It's fascinating. The medium changes completely, but the meaning is preserved.
And there's another huge shift. The Green New Year. We talked about firecrackers scaring off the Narnian beast. Well, in a modern megacity, millions of people lighting gunpowder creates unbelievable smog.
Right, and a lot of cities have banned them.
So the market improvised. We now have electronic firecrackers. They're these plastic strings of lights that you hang up, and they flash and play a recording of deafening explosions.
So it's the Nanny Beast countermeasure 2.0. All the noise, none of the pollution.
Exactly.
Gee.
You scare the monster, but you don't trigger the air quality alerts.
There's one more modern change that feels a bit more societal. The dust cleaning.
Ah, yes, the outsourcing of it all.
Right. It used to be the whole family scrubbing for days now.
Now young people in cities are busy, so we see this huge spike in hiring professional cleaning squads from the gig economy right before the new year.
So you're paying a stranger to sweep away your bad luck.
Essentially, yes. The ritual of cleaning is outsourced, but the need to have a clean house for the new year is non-negotiable. The desire for that fresh start is so deep people will pay for it.
So we've gone from a sticky-mouthed deity in an ancient farmhouse to a VR-enhanced electronic firecracker celebration where the cleaning is done by an app.
It's quite a journey. But when you strip away all the digital layers and the outsourced cleaning, what's really left?
The sources seem to agree on this. It's the emotional core.
Right. It's about family reunion. It's about reflecting on the past year, taking stock of your behavior, your own personal report card. And it's about hope for the future.
That hope that next year will be better. And maybe that the kitchen god will put in a good word for you.
And whether you believe he's actually up there talking to the Jade Emperor or not, the ritual makes you stop and ask, How did I live this year? Was I a good person?
Which brings us to a final thought I want to leave you with. We started by calling the kitchen god a spy and a surveillance agent. And today, surveillance is scary. It's Big Brother. It's invasive.
It implies a lack of control, a lack of privacy.
Exactly. But this tradition has lasted for thousands of years. People welcome him back, they buy a new poster, and put it right back on the wall. So here's the question. Does the idea of a kitchen god make us behave better because we're afraid of being watched? Or is the tradition actually about the comfort of believing that someone is always looking out for the home?
That is a profound distinction. Is it policing or is it guardianship? In a chaotic world, maybe there's something reassuring about the idea that the universe cares enough about your little kitchen to station a god there. He might be watching you, but he's also watching over you.
Something to chew on while you're eating your sticky candy.
Just don't glue your teeth together right before you have to make an important call to your parents.
Good advice. To everyone listening, whether you're scrubbing the floors, booking a flight home, or just sending a digital red envelope, we hope you have a very sweet start to the year.
Indeed. May your report to the Jane Emperor be a glowing one.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you next time.